Imagine a queen cloaked in jewels, commanding empires and dissolving alliances with a glance, who smelled so foul that courtiers vomited behind fans. Her hair? Gone, replaced with towering wigs filled with rot. Her skin? A painted illusion layered over lesions and lead. Her bath? A stagnant stew of perfume, mildew and sweat. This isn't some Tudor horror story, it's history. This was Queen Elizabeth I, a monarch remembered for her glory, but forgotten for her stench. I'm your host, Cloaked Testament, and this is the time-worn record where we deep dive into history's most intriguing stories, unveiling the mysteries and truth that lie below, possibly forgotten. She outwitted assassins. She broke with Rome. She defied the Spanish Armada. Yet beneath the pearls and proclamations, her body was a collapsing cathedral of disease and delusion. A sovereign masked in power, but drowning in her own poison. This isn't a sanitized textbook biography. This is the grotesque truth of England's most iconic ruler, a queen so obsessed with control, she let her flesh rot in silence. In this video, we're delving into the decaying underbelly of Tudor beauty, political terror, and royal deception. You'll discover how Elizabeth's pride cost her skin, teeth, and possibly her sanity. Before we start, drop your country in the comments. We love hearing from history lovers around the world. If you're brave enough to face the filth, hit the like button and send this video to someone who thinks royalty smells like roses. Picture the late 16th century. You're a French ambassador, entering the glittering throne room of England's ruler. Gold glints off every surface. Courtiers bow in silence, and there she is, resplendent, immobile, radiant. Then she opens her mouth to speak, and the smell assaults you like a death knell. Your eyes water. You suppress a gag. You wonder, has something inside her begun to rot? The answer? Yes. Queen Elizabeth I's breath was infamous. More than halitosis, it was described as corpse-like. Her teeth, once white, became blackened nubs, dangling like relics in bloody gums. Visitors whispered of her mouth of the grave. The source of this rot? A deadly cocktail of sugar, pride, and denial. Elizabeth's love for sweetmeats made from cane sugar, plundered from Caribbean colonies, was relentless. At court, sugar meant status, and she indulged. Even as her molars crumbled and her gums festered, she refused dental care. Instead, she used honey to clean her teeth, believing it protective. Historians now suspect it hastened their destruction. By her 40s, she could barely chew. Banquets were tailored around her, poultry boiled to paste, bread softened with wine. Even then, she winced with every bite. One doctor suggested pulling a decayed tooth, so she demanded he extract one of his own first to prove it was painless. He did, screamed, bled, collapsed. Elizabeth watched, then dismissed him. To her, pain meant weakness, and weakness could dethrone, so she layered deception atop decay. Cloves between teeth to mask the odor. Rose petals held in her mouth before speeches. A silver fork so the gleam might distract from the horror. But it couldn't. Foreign guests left nauseated. Some wrote home describing her mouth as a dark, cavernous tomb. Her speech slurred. Her smile stiffened. And her portraits lied. Painters depicted gleaming teeth that no longer existed. Her spoken power, once sharp and witty, faded into whispers. And still, she refused help. She wore the rot like armor. For to admit deterioration was to invite downfall, and that fear only deepened when it came to water. In Elizabeth's court, water wasn't cleansing, it was deadly. Doctors warned that baths opened the skin's gates, letting illness seep in, and the Queen believed them. She feared water the way others feared poison, so she stopped bathing entirely. Instead, her cleansing routine became theatre. Servants dabbed her body with cloths soaked in vinegar, rosewater, and wine not to clean, but to perfume. She wore 6 layers of clothing bodices, petticoats, smocks each absorbing sweat, oils and powders. By day's end, the garments were crusted with grime. One maid claimed her nightgown was so stiff with residue, it could stand on its own. Her chambers reeked of wilting petals, musky oils, and something deeper putrefaction. Incense burned constantly. Lavender sachets hung from the ceiling. Still, the odor leaked out. A French envoy once wrote, "She smells like a dying bouquet smothered in vinegar." And yet, she enforced immaculate standards for others. A courtier with visible sweat could be exiled, but the Queen's own filth? Untouchable. Elizabeth owned a porcelain bathtub, decorated with golden cherubs, transported with her on royal tours. It was rarely used. When she did bathe, it was ceremonial. Attendants would fill it with lukewarm water and flower petals. A priest would bless it. Then she'd sit motionless for hours. Not scrubbing, just steeping. No soap, no rinse. The water never changed, darkened with each hour. More perfume was poured in to mask the truth. When she finally rose, her skin wrinkled and reeking, she was wrapped in silk, not towels, and powdered, not dried. And beneath that skin, a deeper nightmare. Her cosmetics were not beauty aids. They were weapons. Daily, she coated her face in Venetian ceruse, a white paste made of vinegar and lead. After surviving smallpox in her 20s, Elizabeth became obsessed with hiding the scars. Ceruse promised perfection. Instead, it promised death. The lead seeped into her pores. Her skin dried, cracked, bled. She reapplied more. Over soreness, over ulcers, over flesh that screamed for air. By her 40s, her complexion was a battlefield. Her cheeks split when she smiled. Maids wept when they peeled off the paste. One vomited. Elizabeth slapped her. But ceruse was only the beginning. She tinted her cheeks with cinnabar mercury sulfide. Her lips with vermilion more mercury. Her eyes were darkened with soot. Her pupils dilated with belladonna, a plant that induces hallucinations. Her beauty was a chemical siege. Symptoms emerged: tremors, paranoia, insomnia. Her fingers curled. Her back hunched. She lashed out at servants, blamed them for imagined plots, refused mirrors. When physicians begged her to stop, she hissed, "My face is my throne." And she meant it. Her wigs told the same story. After years of poisoning her scalp with powder and dye, Elizabeth went bald. Her real hair fell out in clumps. Wigs replaced it, huge perfumed structures of goat hair, horse hair, even hair from dead servants. They were glued on with animal fat and egg, powdered with more lead. Some weighed 20 pounds. She needed a steel brace to wear them. Inside these wigs, lice, mold, maggots. Maids reported finding larvae crawling near her scalp. They said nothing. To comment on the Queen's decay was treason. Instead, they dusted lavender, reapplied powder, and locked the wigs in guarded rooms. Overnight, never cleaned, only aired out over coal. And beneath it all, her skull festered. Sores, infections, open wounds. Pins held the wigs in place, embedding into her scalp. Yet she wore them even while unconscious. When she fainted in court from pain, servants replaced her wig before reviving her. Elizabeth became a statue painted, pinned, perfumed. Her body, a haunted temple. But the final horror came after death. When she died in 1603, her body decayed almost instantly. Physicians blamed damp weather. In truth, she had been embalming herself in toxins for decades. Within hours, her skin bloated. Black fluid seeped from her nose. Her lips darkened. Her limbs curled. The stench was unbearable. Servants passed out. Guards rotated every 10 minutes. One courtier collapsed in the funeral chamber. The coffin had to be sealed twice. Still, flies gathered. Her funeral was delayed. Her face, now melted and sunken, was repainted with wax. Her lips sewn shut. Her wig nailed in place. As her casket passed through London, crowds wept. They saw the mask, not the corpse. They smelled flowers, not rot, but those closest knew the truth. Elizabeth didn't just die. She disintegrated. The lead, the perfume, the paint, it all turned her into her own mausoleum. A queen embalmed while alive. And yet, her portraits remain pristine. Her legacy untarnished. Children study her victories. They rarely learn about the worms, but now you do. Now you know the price she paid to stay untouchable. Was it strength or fear? Until next time, stay curious and never trust the scent of roses.